Could Toronto be on the verge of pulling off the most legendary trade move since 1949? Right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs are staring down the barrel of their biggest offensive challenge in years. Mitch Marner is gone, now wearing the gold and black of the Vegas Golden Knights, and with him one of the league's most dynamic playmakers. We're not just talking about losing points on the scoreboard. We're talking about losing a player who could read the ice like a GPS system and create magic out of thin air. General Manager Brad Treliving isn't just filling a roster spot here. He's trying to replace irreplaceable production, leadership, and that special kind of hockey intelligence that separates good players from great ones. But here's where things get really interesting. History might just have handed Toronto the perfect blueprint for pulling off the impossible. Let me take you back to 1949, when another franchise facing similar pressure made a move that changed everything. The Detroit Red Wings had just suffered a crushing Stanley Cup final defeat to none other than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sound familiar? Sometimes hockey has a twisted sense of humor. Detroit's general manager Jack Adams was furious. His team had dominated the regular season only to watch their championship dreams crumble in the biggest moment. Adams knew he needed to shake things up, and shake things up he did. In August of 1949, he orchestrated a massive six-player trade with the Boston Bruins that would go down in hockey folklore. The centerpiece going to Boston was Bill Quackenbush, a legitimate superstar defenseman. We're talking about a first-team NHL All-Star and Lady Byng Trophy winner, the kind of player you don't just give away. In return, Detroit got what looked like a collection of solid but unspectacular players. Forwards Jimmy Peters and Pete Babando, plus defensemen Claire Martin and Lloyd Durham. Hockey experts scratched their heads. Fans questioned Adams' sanity. But sometimes the most criticized moves become the most celebrated ones, and that's exactly what happened here. Pete Babando wasn't a household name when he arrived in Detroit. He wasn't the kind of player who made highlight reels during the regular season or had his jersey flying off the shelves. But when the lights got brightest and the pressure reached its peak, Babando delivered the kind of moment that legends are made of. Fast forward to the 1950 Stanley Cup Final. Game 7 against the New York Rangers. We're talking about double overtime, when legs are heavy, nerves are frayed, and one mistake can end your season. That's when Pete Babando stepped up and scored the championship winning goal, sending Detroit into euphoria and proving that sometimes the most unexpected heroes write the best stories. Now, why am I telling you this 75-year-old hockey story? Because Brad Treliving finds himself in almost the exact same position that Jack Adams faced back then. Toronto has a championship-caliber core, but they're missing that crucial piece that can put them over the top. The departure of Mitch Marner has created a void that goes beyond statistics. It's about finding someone who can deliver when everything is on the line. The current Maple Leafs roster is talented, no question about it. Austin Matthews remains one of the most lethal scorers in the game. William Nylander brings speed and skill. John Tavares provides veteran leadership. But there's something missing, that X-Factor player who might not dominate the headlines, but can step up in the clutch moments that define championship runs. This is where the Pete Babando blueprint becomes so relevant. Detroit didn't go out and trade for the biggest name available. They identified a player with untapped potential, someone who could complement their existing stars while bringing something extra when it mattered most. Babando's regular season numbers weren't eye-popping, but his playoff performance was absolutely legendary. Toronto's challenge is identifying their own Pete Babando, who's that under-the-radar player that could thrive in Toronto's system, who has the mental toughness to perform in the pressure cooker of playoff hockey, who might be available at a reasonable price because other teams haven't fully recognized their potential. The beauty of the Babando trade wasn't just about acquiring talent. It was about timing and vision. Jack Adams saw something others missed, and he was willing to take a calculated risk when his team needed it most. That's exactly the kind of bold thinking Treliving needs right now. Consider this. The NHL has never been more competitive. The salary cap has created unprecedented parity, meaning that championship windows can close faster than you can say salary cap hell. Teams can't afford to wait for perfect opportunities. They have to create them. The Red Wings in 1949 proved that sometimes the most impactful trades aren't the splashiest ones. They're the moves that address specific needs while bringing in players who elevate their game when the stakes are highest. Babando wasn't just a goal scorer. He was a clutch performer who understood the moment. Toronto's 58-year championship drought adds another layer of urgency to this situation. The pressure isn't just about winning games. It's about ending decades of heartbreak and delivering a championship that an entire city has been waiting for. That kind of pressure can either crush players or transform them into legends. The current NHL landscape offers plenty of potential Pete Babando candidates. Players who might be undervalued by their current teams, forwards who could flourish in Toronto's offensive system, veterans who understand what it takes to win when it matters most. The key is having the vision to identify them and the courage to make the move. What makes this comparison even more compelling is how both situations involve teams with championship expectations facing critical roster decisions. Detroit in 1949 had the talent to win, but needed that final piece. Toronto in 2025 finds themselves in remarkably similar circumstances. The lesson from Detroit's championship run isn't just about finding the right player. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most important acquisitions come from unexpected places. Jack Adams didn't just make a trade. He made a statement about his team's commitment to winning at the highest level. Brad Treliving has the same opportunity, sitting in front of him right now. He can play it safe and hope internal development fills the gaps, or he can channel his inner Jack Adams and make the kind of bold move that transforms pretenders into champions. The pieces are there for Toronto to make a serious Stanley Cup run. They just need their Pete Babando moment. The clock is ticking, and championship windows don't stay open forever. If the Maple Leafs can find their version of that 1949 Detroit magic, they might finally give their fans a celebration they've been dreaming about since 1967. Sometimes history doesn't just repeat itself. It rhymes, and right now, Toronto has a chance to write their own legendary chapter. What do you think, Leafs Nation? Is there a Pete Babando-type player out there waiting to become Toronto's championship hero? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into hockey history and how it connects to today's game.